So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the April meeting of the Friendswood Downtown Economic Development Corporation. We'll go to the agenda, and the first thing that we have, I told you I did not need an agenda, and I do.
Communications from the public, sir.
I had a copy of the minutes, but not the agenda.
Approval of the minutes.
So the first thing is public communication. I recognize Miss Sally Harris Hanson Branson.
Love that he knows all my names.
Harrison.
Seriously. I just wanted to remind you all, and I know the flyer's out there, but I just want to remind you of our Small Business Week that will be coming up on April the 27th. It'll happen at Hope Village. It's going to be a full day, action-packed, starting with lunch, and then we're going to end the day with Brian Welsh, who's with Houston Sports Authority. He's going to talk to us about FIFA and all that that's coming in, but I would highly encourage y'all to come. And then the same week, April the 29th, in this room, we're going to have bringing back Main Street. So I'm very excited about that. That's what Letty was just in here for. So I just want to remind y'all those two things, and Rebecca will be one of the presenters. Stephen will be one of the presenters on the Small Business Week. So I just would love for y'all to come and participate in all of those things, since you have nothing else to do but come to fun events that the city is sponsoring. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Sally. Thanks, Sally. Okay. Any other members of the public? I don't see any. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from the March 17 meeting?
Move approval.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Show it as unanimous. The next item on the agenda is for a discuss the FDEDC mission goals and objectives. As you may notice, we're kind of slim on the board today. In fact, Chris is the one that actually wanted this item on the agenda. I would propose that we postpone this until our next meeting, or I guess we can discuss here too. Do we want to have a special meeting or a workshop upstairs where it's just a little more informal? What's the feeling of the board?
I think a workshop would be fine.
Workshop?
I can go ahead and I'll poll the group here in the next couple
yeah.
of days and get some dates,
Yeah.
and let Chris know too, and that we'll look to try to put into a workshop session upstairs. And
Perfect.
make sure we can get everybody there.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
All right. Item 5A, consider authorizing payment to AT&T to prepare a cost estimate for custom work order to remove and relocate communication lines. Stephen, you got a report?
Yes, sir. So this may look eerily familiar and look like something that's already been done, and you'd be correct. So AT&T, if you recall, requested $15,000 to put together an estimate in order for the burial of the line, third overhead communication lines downtown. They called me back here in the last couple of weeks that after they got into conversations with their design and consultation team, that FM 518 is very busy underneath the right-of-way, and they foresee a whole lot more field work and a whole lot more design work than they first anticipated. And so they are requesting an additional $53,000 to put the estimate together. I did go back and ask basically that, hey, this started at 0, then it went to 15, and now we're at 53 additional for 68,000 total. What's the sky here? What are we talking about? I was informed that this would be it. I asked if they could cut it in half or reduce it any, and the higher ups at AT&T declined. So in order to get the estimate complete for AT&T, the grand total is $68,000. I would need this action item to be approved for $53,000 in order to move it to council in May.
And that cost will be deducted from the actual work, right?
Yes, sir. So it would all be a package at the end, but that would be reduced, that amount. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I did let them know that if this cost was presented in the beginning, that it's quite possibly would not have been that much of a concern, but the fact that it started at 0 went to 15,000, and then the request for an additional 53,000, it just makes it seem a little suspect. He did apologize. I do feel bad. It really wasn't his decision-making. It was some of his folks, supervisors at AT&T. But in order to get this estimate and design off High Center, an additional $53,000 is requested.
Did you get any kind of a line item reasoning for that? Any backup material?
Nothing short of the email and his description of just the additional field work that was going to have to take place by the consultant to get out and confirm. Their major concern is everything else underneath FM 518 on that side. If you can recall, we did run into some of those issues when the streetlights and the conduit and the sidewalks went in. So it is very busy. And so they just have a concern that if they get out there without doing the proper design, that they may run into larger issues.
We've been talking about this for 10 years.
Yeah.
I know it's so that.
Nobody wants to turn
Somehow
back
you just feel like you're being fleeced, doesn't it?
Well, I made that comment. It feels like they're nickel and diming us to death here before they even get started, but we kind of made a commitment a couple of meetings ago to either do this or take it off the list.
And to that point, unfortunately, there is not another entity I can go out and ask to remove these because they are owned by AT&T. So they are the only game in town when it comes to removing their lines.
They have to do it.
Yes, sir.
And that's the reason I was kind of asking if there was additional documentation, if there's something you can get something more detailed you could get from them that we could hang our hat on for the file.
Sure.
If nothing else, just so everybody will know, okay, we're paying for valuable work.
I will have either a line item or another invoice with information prior to it going to city council, for sure.
Okay. And then if you'd provide us with a copy of that.
Absolutely.
So I'll make a motion to authorize an additional $53,000 to AT&T for design of line removal and burial. And we'll have a funeral for it when it happens.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. Any more discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Stephen, get them moving on it.
Yes, sir.
So I think you said May 5th, city council meeting?
Yes, sir.
It'll be presented to them then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. And Ron, I guess we would like to see the more line item
Just whatever.
detail.
Yeah, whatever he provides to the council.
Sure.
In terms of additional detail, I think it'd be helpful for the file and
Yeah.
for all of us to know that they're not, that they're doing what they say they're doing.
And Stephen, I'm pretty sure I'll be there in case anybody wants to ask any questions.
Yes, sir.
As long as they're.
Always appreciated.
From the total cost, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll all be rolled in. Of course, it's non-refundable if we decide not to do it, but. Okay, moving on to line item 5B, consider authorizing payment to Comcast to remove and relocate communication lines.
So yes, sir, this is another entity. So Comcast, which for the most part that we've seen is one of the lower hanging lines out on FM 518. This dollar amount, $625,483.26, is for lock, stock, and barrel to remove and bury everything that they have out there. I do have line item, I think I sent it out in the backup material, and it goes point by point on what they plan on doing. This was provided late last week, and we went back and forth a few just to make sure we had the proper contract and we're good to go. But this is very similar to the previous item, $625,483.26 as an action item to move forward with this, and it'll go to the May 5th council as well.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the removal of the overhead for facilities for $625,483.26. The removal, the removal and of the overhead and installation of the underground.
Yes, sir.
I'll second.
And so that's turnkey, right? I mean, that's,
Yes, sir. Comcast has Comcast has a different system than AT&T or MCI and Verizon. They turn it all over straight to a third-party vendor who comes out and does an assessment and then provides a cost estimate or an estimate back to Comcast, who then gets back to us. And so this is the invoiced amount that they've prepared, and this is to do everything. I cannot guarantee, like with any of these, that there won't be the request for a change order in the future, because it does happen. But as of right now, this is the amount to remove them. Yes, sir.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
Just one question, do we have any indication from them when this will begin, construction?
I made that request yesterday. I have yet to hear back. These folks are fairly quick when it comes to, once they get out here, it's just going to be the mobilization, so depending on where they are currently. I will pass that information on, and then hopefully I'll have it by the council meeting when they can get started.
Yeah, and maybe an estimate of how long it'll take.
Yes, sir.
It'll be pretty involved, so
Yes, sir.
it'll be interesting to see how long they.
Maybe AT&T can come out and watch them.
That would be good, sir. That would be good. I, just as a data point for the removal, once they get started, the Verizon folks, which is the next item, that we unfortunately won't be able to take up, but they've estimated once they get started, anywhere between 30 and 45 days. So it's not great, not horrible, considering what they have to do. But my understanding is the MCI and Verizon is fairly limited in downtown, and it's kind of easier to take care of. But my guess is we're looking anywhere between 60 and 90 days for everything.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Awesome. Show it as unanimous. Unanimous of the quorum that's here. Next item, 5C, consider authorization and payment to Verizon/MCI for the removal and relocate of communication lines.
Yes, so unfortunately, we haven't gotten the full amount of information that we're comfortable with to move forward yet on this one. It does seem to be significantly less than the other two, which causes me a little bit of pause. And so we're visiting with MCI and Verizon, both their folks here in town, and then some of the legal counsel to make sure we can get everything buttoned up. As soon as we have an item, whether it be at a retreat or a special meeting or our next meeting, we'll bring it forward.
Okay.
I'm surprised there's Verizon lines with AT&T lines.
There's not a whole lot. I think a lot of them are older and original to the cell tower that's there down by the Senior Activity Center. That's why some of their original cost that they came in was less than $150,000, which is why I hit the pause button to make sure we were talking about the same thing.
So they're abandoned lines.
Most likely, and so it'll just be a removal, not necessarily a large-scale relocation. But we will, once we get their invoice and we get their plan put together, I will present it to the board.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next agenda item, 6A, receive the downtown projects report.
So just real quick, for our downtown pole and light removal, we have previously identified some of the TNMP existing fixtures that needed to be removed. TNMP has come out after the work orders were entered and have taken care of 3. I did, by happenstance this morning, find one in a French church that I did not know existed. It's kind of tucked away in the trees and hidden away. So we put that one on the list this morning. So hopefully these will get taken care of pretty quick. These are just the ones that are attached to the old wooden poles. Most of these are no longer even in operation, and they just need to come down. So the light and the mast itself, and then whatever associated wires can come off with it. We are checking in with the Fringe Church Drive pole because that is just a light pole. There's nothing else attached to it. So hopefully we can remove the pole altogether as well.
I would make sure that the city's not being billed for those as
Yep.
well.
Yes, sir. One of the issues that is taking some time is once we identified them and gave the proper coordinates, they go out and have to confirm that they're in their system. If they're in their system, they just turn them
We
off.
don't have a way to track them.
Right, and so
New Mexico doesn't.
if they can't find it somewhere, then we have to make sure that we do get our credit for it once it comes down.
Awesome.
Switching over to some of the old commercial light poles, the black Shepherd's Crook, that's what they're called, lights. We did get 3 more removed down at 209 South Friendswood in the past month. Then we have 6 active requests for removal. And you can look, this is the updated map. Everywhere that's yellow has been taken care of and removed, and we have requests at the remaining addresses. There are 2 addresses that only have the previously required black lights that chose not to partake in the downtown lighting when it happened. When we get to those, we'll look to see if we can work out a deal to install the new ones and to see if the property owners would like to move forward at this time.
Offer it up.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
For our downtown business and events, it's been a busy month. We did have 4 new COs or remodels that took place downtown. Friendswood Grocery has now moved into the new spot next to Sherwin-Williams. Lola's, which is the wine bar that's there located behind APA. They had been in operation, I think, under a temporary CO. They finally got their CO. Olive and Ash and Henderson Williams, Olive and Ash Counseling and then Henderson Williams both opened up suites, 306 and 311 South Friendswood Drive. As was mentioned earlier during public comment, we do have some events that are either regarding downtown or downtown adjacent. You guys were all invited to a webinar that Aubrey was going to host, I believe, next week for Texas Downtown. CDC is hosting the HGAC Small Business Week event on April 27th. There's some flyers out in the lobby if you would like to pick one up and register. And then we'll be hosting in council chambers the HGAC Bringing Back Main Street 2 days later on April 29th. Everybody's welcome to attend.
So if you'll let Aubrey know, I'd indicated that I could be at the April 22nd meeting, but I can't. I gotta go out of town.
Yes, sir. And that's all I have for reports.
So the other thing I wanted to mention was, I don't know if any of you all are members of or have seen the Friends of Downtown Friendswood Facebook page where they posted all of the values and commerce that has taken place in the downtown area over the last 10 years. That is huge. And I was actually looking for it here, but it didn't pop up very quick, so. But if you haven't seen it, take a look at it.
Yeah.
It is very impressive to see how much value has been created, how many new businesses. 60, right? Am I right in that? I think that's what
So overall, I think in just the past 6 or 8 years, there's been, I think 40% of the city's certificates of occupancy, commercial, have been issued in downtown.
yeah. It was only 25.
25, yeah.
So my Chamber of Commerce memory.
It's a gorgeous day.
But anyway, it just was so impressive to see that. I don't know how, there didn't seem to be very many comments one way or the other about it, but it's just great news, great information, and I think a testimony to how if we're working together, things tend to multiply quickly. And when I say we're working together, the entities, the FDEDC, the city, the Chamber of Commerce, the FDFA, all of the Economic Development Committee, Council for the city, all of those working together, what impact, great impact they can have. And once the dominoes start falling, they just tend to really go more quickly too. It's just gaining momentum. But I wanted to compliment FDFA for putting that out and just pat ourselves on the back for being participants in that effort.
It's a good posting if you haven't taken a look at it. And it would be interesting just for me and us, I think, to see what our income from the sales tax has been in a plot, to see if it's going up proportional
Yes, sir.
to the number of COs that have been opened up here in the downtown area. That would be, it'd be indicative of success on our part.
Absolutely, yeah. Creating more property and sales tax.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Exactly right.
Awesome, excellent. Thank you, Ron. Item 6C, receive and discuss the FDEDC financial report.
Yes, sir. So as we're just finishing up talking about the funding coming in, the beginning fund balance for March 2026 was $3.33 million with a total revenue of a healthy $97,859. There was zero expenditures for any of the projects outside of the $1,334 that comes to the city of Friendswood for staff services. Ending fund balance for March is $3,435,451 with only about $18,000 still line item for projects that are out just for contingencies, leaving an unencumbered fund balance for March 2026 of $3,417,325. Got to spit it out.
Excellent.
Very good.
So as we were talking earlier about the possible money we're going to spend for the lights and pole, not the pole lights, but the pole removal, line removal, and that stuff along 518, it's a lot of money. But we've been kicking the can down the road for 10 years now. We've got enough money to cover it. Let's make an impression. Let's make something visible happen here,
Yep. Amen. For the record.
for the record. I don't know if can you say that for the record? Can we have that in the minutes?
Amen.
Yeah, okay, all right, just checking. All right, next meeting, May 12th?
May 12th, yes, sir, second Tuesday, unless we have a change as it comes to either a special meeting or a retreat. But as mentioned, I'll pull the board and see what works.
Awesome. All right, any further comments from the board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion seconded. All in favor, say aye. I'm not going to give you a chance to say nay, so.
Somebody's left to vote against.
Thank y'all.